few days ago, my friend and I were talking, and she had asked me how to be a better friend. When I was talking to her about my own opinions and advice, I asked if I could make a video about it because I think that that's such an invaluable question to ask. I don't really see that point of view being asked about or talked about. So when she asked me that, the first thing that popped up in my head is communication. Communication is the key to almost every single thing in life. And I think the first thing that I would ask is, how would I want to be treated? The first thing that I would do after evaluating if I would appreciate my own friendship is ask whoever's raising these concerns. If somebody comes to you and they're like, I don't feel like you're being a good friend to me, the first thing that you should do is ask them why. What actions of mine make you feel unappreciated or undervalued? I find that usually in those types of situations, it's often that someone is looking for a specific kind of reciprocal that's not being received. If the first thing that you do is ask, what do I do that makes you feel unappreciated, and how can I change? That leaves the door open for the person with the concerns to immediately be like, I feel unappreciated in this way, and this way. I would appreciate it if you could X, Y, and Z. And by setting that basis, you eliminate many possibilities for there to be miscommunication and resentment later in your relationship. At least from my experience, communicating like that works the most efficiently with minimal complications later. Just yesterday, I saw this tweet from the Dalai Lama, and the tweet said that we often think of compassion as something we can extend or do for others, but we forget that compassion first is important for ourselves, and that by being compassionate towards ourselves, we open the door for new friendships, as friendships are based on trust, and when one is compassionate, one is more trustable? Is that the word? Trusting, able to be trusted more easily. You get what I'm saying. That resonated with me because I believe that the basis of friendship is rooted in compassion, both for yourself first and then for your friend. A healthy relationship, platonic or romantic, if you are constantly relying on the other person to keep you happy and keep you satisfied in yourself. You need to have that own confidence and support inside of yourself in order to be able to have strength for others and uplift others. Granted, nobody expects you to be happy all the time, and certainly I don't think that it's possible to be happy 24/7 nonstop. But the point I'm trying to get across is that you need to have a little bit of light in yourself to be able to give that light to other people. You can't be a person always asking for light because you won't create your own. It is immensely difficult to cultivate that light inside of yourself, especially if it's starting from just a little ember, but it is possible. With enough patience and with enough hard work, you can build that light inside of yourself. You can make a whole fire and you can give that to other people, and that's what friendship is. Friendship is saying, here, have these parts of me because I am enough and I want to share that with you. If you are constantly keeping yourself in a friendship that you're not happy in because, oh, we've been friends forever, or oh, they can't live without me, or I can't live without them, or, well, they're not horrible to me, then you need to reevaluate how much you value yourself and your own time and your own energy. Because the very base of it is, am I happy in this relationship? If I'm not happy, can that be fixed by communication? If there needs to be personality changes in your relationship, then I think one should look a little deeper and think a little deeper about that friendship. Because people do grow apart. People change as they get older and they get more experiences in life. And as sad as it can be, it's okay if friends drift apart and decide they don't want to be friends anymore. It sucks and it's awful, but you shouldn't confine yourself in a smaller shell because you don't want to outgrow that person that you are friends with. Good communication is key. I find that it's a lot easier to message your friend, call your friend, however you choose to communicate, and explain, oh, I'm sorry that we haven't talked very often, I've been very busy, but you've been on my mind, I haven't been meaning to ignore you, and let's talk about hanging out next week, whenever you're next free. It's a lot easier to spend 5 minutes having that conversation than it is to have resentment for a few months, and especially when that resentment could lead to the end of a relationship that doesn't need to end. Number 3 on my list is having compassion. But first, having compassion for yourself, then having compassion for those around you. If you have a lot of bitterness and hatred and just general negativity that you constantly direct at yourself, you are inevitably going to direct that at other people, even if it's not intentional. And both as an act of self-care and an act of consideration for others, we need to first look inward and try to console our own soul. We need to first work on ourselves before we can work on others. It is possible to do both at the same time, but if you're in for the long haul and you're trying to do some serious work, you need to take the consideration for yourself and the forethought to say, hey, I'm struggling, I'm working on it, but I'd like you to know that I want to be there for you as well, and I would appreciate if you could return the favor. I cannot stress enough how much friendship is really in the little things. It's in the minute actions and the little acts of kindness and the small pockets of light that you truly, truly, truly find your friends and accumulate your close circle. There's a lot more to be gained in a small circle of close friends than a large circle of acquaintances. And I think that that's a good thing to reflect on when you're assessing how good of a friend you are. And I want to make it very clear that in no way in this video am I trying to tell you that you're a bad friend, or I'm trying to tell you that you need to improve how you deal with friendship and be a friend to yourself and being a friend to others. I'm just trying to share my 2 cents about the situation, because I try to be the best friend that I can be to my friends and to myself, because to sound the least bit of vain and selfish as I can, we are ultimately the center of our own worlds, but we can choose to share those worlds with others. And so if our world is happy, we have a lot better of a time and a lot easier of a time making other people's worlds happy. That's it for today. That's it for this week. I hope you liked it. I hope you gained something. And what do you think are ways to be a better friend? What are your tips on being a better friend? I truly want to know. I think that this is a great subject that has infinite learning capabilities. It's entirely dependent on others' perspectives, so please share with me what you think the best ways to be a better friend are. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.